westward away from the bay, and the town starts to shrink behind them, and the wind begins to intensify. Now, Gabriella, if you remember, she's our head of sales. She's in charge of the sailing system.
Sure.
She's starting to anxiously note the increasing tension and strain on the conifer masts. And below deck, Jorge hears the loud roar of the heightening waves smashing into the hull of the ship with a ferocity, frankly, he never anticipated during construction. Diego pulls out her nautical telescope and she gazes forward to spot two ships quickly approaching from a distance. She spots the familiar forecastle and stern castle common among the pirate ships she encountered years earlier with Vega Morelos on the high seas. She calls Jingo and she says, gather your crew and man your stations. And so Jingo and his crew now are scrambling. They scramble below deck to grab the gunpowder and the ammunition for the deck cannons. Jorge, below deck, Jorge and his crew, Renick, they're shouldering the hull, right? As if they could fight the raging ocean on the other side. They're in full anticipation of a leak. And now two of his crew are running back from the supply room with a bucket of tar.
Right.
When they're all of a sudden knocked from their feet. So there's a direct hit scored from the lead pirate ship. 30 feet to the stern, the oak wood of the hull explodes and sends splinters clear across the ship and hits one of his crew in the upper thigh. It was very clear they were just ill prepared for an effective counter-assault. But just as Jingo arms and aims this cannon to return fire, this horrendous roar lets out from the mainsail. All of a sudden, you see this 8-foot gash rip through the upper third of the sail. Now the whole crew is just running furiously, screaming and yelling orders and filling in wherever they could just to keep the ship afloat. The sun rises over the horizon the next morning. A warm breeze sweeps over the deck of our Grace, and the only sound which could be heard was the creaking of a broken mast and the rolling of the remaining cannonballs along the deck. So you can imagine his dreams are dashed, and he peers towards the rising sun and incidentally his hometown over the horizon. And he's grappling with this new dilemma. And as he's doing so, his eyes start to squint to make out a silhouette approaching now from the east.